good evening. Welcome to Beyond Focus TV. I'm your host, Abby Ray. I have a great, fantastic show for you this week. I have my guest, Aniya A, who's done amazing and wonderful things. So please come back after this
Beyond
break.
Focus TV allows you to discuss contemporary topics affecting the Caribbean people on both a national and local level. The show features informed guests who offer insight, debate, and evaluate various issues. Beyond Focus TV builds on the station's mission to provide useful information to the Caribbean people in New York and abroad. Beyond Focus TV, where our viewing audience can get educated, informed, and empowered.
Welcome back. I hope you're ready. You got your popcorn and everything, because it's about to be a movie in here today. Because, girls, I got my guest, Aniya A. She's about to break everything down for you, so let's get started. Let's talk to her. Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me tonight.
Oh, it was a pleasure to have you, too. So, girl, I've been dying to ask you this question.
Okay.
What? Well, let the guests know your name, who you are, what you do, and how you do it, and then I'll ask you this important question.
No problem. Like my beautiful host here said, my name is Aniya A. You probably have seen me on platforms such as the Dr. Oz Show, standing side by side with Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton, who is our civil rights giant of the world. You've probably seen me on CNN, ABC, now Beyond Focus TV.
Yes!
You've heard my voice all over the world, thanks to my big brother, Master B, who's in the building. Throughout the Haitian community, I've been on shows like Makaya, and the list goes on. I can't even begin to describe. I want to say Latino with brother Rodney. And of course, I've been on the Buzz Ben show, which is a really popular show that a lot of Haitian people will know when I say the name Boss Ben.
Yes.
So I'm excited to be here tonight, and I know you have a lot of questions for me, and I'm ready.
Oh, good. Because I wanted to ask you, how was it being on the Oz Show? I've been dying to go there. I've been writing him letters. He hasn't answered me yet, but I know he gets them.
Well, we will make sure he gets this clip. I'm supposed to be back on set myself. How was it being on the Dr. Oz Show? That's so funny because I never thought a day in my life that I would be sitting by Dr. Oz or testing products with Oz or anything of that sort. But you know what? I literally got my baby brother that said to me one day, I was in South Florida. He's like, with the story you have, and if I had your story, I would be on the Dr. Oz Show. Or I'll be with Oprah, telling Oprah my story. And it was at that moment, being the competitive person that I am, I was like, I'll show him. I will write to Oz and I'll get on there. And I never thought it would happen. So I took a chance one day in one of my darkest moments, and I emailed from my laptop, and I sent the email off and just forgot about it, honestly. And 6 months later, I'm sitting in a hotel room actually, and I get a call from Dr. Oz's producers saying that they want to do my story and meet me. And Dr. Oz, loves, what I wrote. And I was like, wait a minute, y'all lying. But it was Dr. Oz's producers, and I was, a part of that show right from day one.
Oh, my goodness.
And that was about 6 years ago or so.
Yes, I know.
Oh,
I saw you.
Oh, you saw me? Oh.
Yes, that's why I've been dying to ask.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
Because I love the Dr. Oz Show. I watch it as much. Well, I used to watch it all the time.
Right.
But due to my timetables with my other jobs.
Yes, I got you.
It's been a little bit hard.
Yeah.
But, girl, you have done a lot. Because I know you're a motivational speaker.
Correct.
You're an author.
Yes.
And you're a poet.
Absolutely.
I'm a poet too.
Okay, girl.
I used to be a rapper in high school.
Go best friend.
Yes. So, one of the questions I want to ask, what was, that turning point for you that made you decide that you wanted to be a motivational speaker, author, just a poet all around?
Well, it was innate, actually. They say, like, certain people are born with certain gifts, right? Yeah. And from the day I remember speaking, my mother was like, Ekisa, go write this, go study that. Like, it was always something I had to study and work on. And funny enough, my first language was French. Being born in Brooklyn, New York, I didn't speak no English. It was French. Then it was Creole. I learned a little Spanish. And when I got to school, I started learning English. So a lot of people didn't know where I came from because it was very different. Well, I utilized all those experiences to literally advance my vocabulary. And I was always reading. And then I don't know when the gift, came for me to be able to pen it down. but it always kind of was there, because like I'll just be sitting there sometimes and I'll see myself, traveling or whatever, and then I'll write something down, and then it would just kind of manifest. There's a lot of power in writing and reading and exploring that second side. And then there's another thing that I was always I used to get in trouble a lot in school for being a daydreamer. I'll be here in class and I'm bored with these teachers. They're talking about something I already knew. And so I would be daydreaming about traveling and whatever, or my Haitian grandmother in Haiti, like, eating mangoes with her, whatever. So I would just, daydream, and I would get in mad trouble, but I didn't know at the time it was because I was excelling so quickly, and I ended up skipping 2 grades in school. But that was also the power of the pen, because while I was daydreaming, I was imagining other worlds and different things that I could, do with myself. So that's kind of where it started, but the books came a little bit later when I actually started writing the books.
Okay. Oh, girl. Do you have... Well, did you bring me any books?
So that I feel so bad about because of my schedule, right? Being an activist, a Haitian activist, I sometimes forget where I'm supposed to be. So thankfully, let me shout out my executive admin who reminded me about today because our team here is so on point. But I did forget the book, but I will have it for you because within the past couple of weeks, my schedule got crazier, and I'll save the rest for later because I don't want to let them know what's going on until you ask me some more questions.
Oh, okay. Girl, that means you got this. She got the sauce.
The sauce.
I mean, because I understand what you mean, because that was my story too. I was, my parents are Haitian, so my first language wasn't English.
Right.
It was actually Creole. So going to school, I had almost the same problems. I became a daydreamer too, and it's people don't understand when you speak a second or third language. Right. It's not a bad thing. It's just your mind become more creative.
Right, and that's why we're more brilliant than the normal person that speaks one language. And they also say that we should teach our children to speak multiple languages at a younger age because we can absorb it quicker.
Yes.
And so that's why it's important that I share on this platform. Parent, don't be embarrassed about teaching your kids Creole. It's a blessing. Yes. Like, when I'm speaking my Creole, I don't care if it's choppy or whatever, like, then people understood. And my father always be like, oh, tellement audacieux. Like, say whatever. And my French is even crazier because I just be mixing stuff up, and you better catch it because I'm going to speak it irregardless. But I say that to say Haitian parents need to understand there's a value in that. And it could take us a lot farther if we understand our roots and our culture and how beautiful we are as a people.
Yes, I agree.
Thank you, sister.
Definitely agree.
Yes, look at us, 2 belle femmes here. Like, hello.
I be trying to tell them, stop playing, call me.
Call me. I love this one.
Because that was the next question I was just about to ask you, because what advice would you like to give the next generation coming behind us, like to become motivational speakers and become poets and become authors?
Very good question. First of all, it comes from the parents. I need our Haitian parents especially, and any parent watching, but I'm going to particularly focus on the Haitian parents. If your child, for example, has a creative nature, stop trying to force them to be a doctor or a lawyer or like an educator. Like, that's all gravy, but you're stifling their gifts. I get goosebumps all over my body because I did it all my life. I went to school for my Haitian parents, especially my Haitian mother, Lord knows, and I literally did everything for her by the book. And I lost a lot of money in doing so, but it wasn't a bad thing because at the end of the day, my education has taken me so much farther than meets the eye. What do I have to say about that? Like, if your child, for example, has a creative nature, help them explore it. Do not stifle it. Help them understand that you can make money doing what you're passionate about, especially today with the technology we have. Back in the day, I don't know how old you are, honey, but even though I'm 22 again, I didn't have the internet then to be like, oh, let me just put my words to this, song and let me create a beat and then I'm gonna be a multimillionaire overnight. It didn't work like that.
Girl, I had to do the other way. I had to go to the library and download songs.
Download and AOL, ding, ding, ding.
Yes.
And so now we have all of these opportunities, and there's many ways for the children to make money. But for the children and those that are coming up, don't be afraid to put yourself out there, especially if it's a positive message. Ooh. And you could use any example from your life. Listen, I get paid to make people happy.
Wait, hold that thought, girl, because I want to know what you get paid to make happy.
Okay.
We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Beyond Focus TV. I am still your host, Abby Ray, and I'm still here with Aniya. We're about to get into her business, get all the way in her business.
I love it.
Yes, because I heard you have a business called Freedom Entertainment Group.
Correct.
What's that about?
So it's literally that motivational thing we were just talking about. It's a way that I motivate people through experiences as well as bringing people on my platform because I don't want to be the only person speaking a lot of times, although I am most of the time. But these events under Freedom Entertainment Group are created like to empower, educate, and entertain. And that's literally my 3 E's right there. And why it needs to be done and why I do it is because we have a lack of Black leadership. We have a lack of Haitian leaders that are really positive and making a difference. And so God gave me the dream and the vision. And I could tell you the exact date, 7/7/7.
Ooh.
Yes, July 7, 2007. I was dreaming and sleeping in Atlanta. God woke me up and showed me what was going on around me because you were talking about rapping. I was literally known as the hip-hop empress in Atlanta.
Ooh.
I have been on many stages doing some real out-of-pocket stuff. And God had to flip the script and bring me back real quick. But while I was rapping and while I was out here with the gangsters and the thugs, I learned that a lot of our young people don't go into the drug game or things like that because they want to. They want to create something. Like if you want to be a rapper, for example, you can't work a 9 to 5. I know. I was on stages until 5 o'clock in the morning sometimes. And so you can't do that and have a 9 to 5. So what will happen is, and what God showed me is, if we take positive messages and examples, we can actually help the young people out there understand, okay, you want to be a rapper, you want to be a singer, whatever you want to do, get your education in an unconventional way. Learn a trade where you don't have to be working 9 to 5. And then you could do what you want to do and get your hustle up. Because that's what I saw. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, I get it. Because our Haitian parents didn't even let me listen to rap growing up. And all of a sudden, because I was a poet and a lyricist, I'm being thrown on stages, people creating flyers over me and everything. I was supposed to be a multi-gazillionaire by now. Yeah. But the rap game wasn't for me because it's very dangerous. And you have to do a whole lot in that game. So I say that. Exactly. Yes. So, and I wasn't willing to do that. Because at the end of the day, is money the purpose? Or is it happiness and fulfillment and changing lives? So I chose the route to change their lives because at the end of the day, I could have the Bentleys, I could have all of that stuff. But in the end, who am I touching?
Nobody.
Right. And because they have to listen to the message and they have to go out there and follow my footsteps one way or the other. They don't know how I'm living. And a lot of times, them rappers, they give you a piece of it. But let me give you an example about Freedom Entertainment Group. Before I even started the company, because of the industry I'm in, I'm with celebrities 24 hours. So imagine one day I'm in a grand opening for a restaurant, right? And it's Ludacris's restaurant. And it was in Atlanta, down like, many years ago. And my homegirl that was putting the event together was like, Aniya, we need you to do somebody's makeup real quick. And I'm like, oh my God, who is this? But I always used to have my Mac ready. The face got to be beat. To
the gods.
To the gods.
Yeah.
So I was in the bathroom doing this lady's makeup. And I didn't even know I was doing Ludacris's mother's makeup.
Wow.
And she was the accountant and she was the mastermind behind the business. And I rarely share this publicly because it's such an intimate story. And I'll never forget, I'm doing her makeup and she's asking me mad questions and I didn't know at the time it was his mother. And so I'm just doing me and I'm doing her cute. She was, oh my God, she was a beautiful woman anyway. And as I finished, touching up her hair and doing her makeup, and I was like, oh, now who are you? Because my name is Aniya. I've been doing your makeup. We just holding it down. And she's like, I'm Ludacris's mother. I was like, oh my God, my makeup thing fell, everything fell. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Why do I share that story? She says to me, because at the time, I didn't know I was going to go into this business. I was just living my best life. And I had to ask her, I said, how is Ludacris behind the scenes? Because I've chilled with Ludacris. I've chilled with Shaka. I've chilled with his whole staff, everybody on board. And out of everybody, Ludacris is the most down-to-earth and chill. He don't be perping, nothing.
Yeah.
And do you know what she said to me? She said, that's all a show, Ma. She said, I raised my son better than that. My son is just putting on a performance for you guys. She said he has an education. He has me. We got businesses. So when he goes out there, he turns into somebody else. But in the house, he's educated. He talks proper and everything. And it was at that moment I realized the difference between entertainment and real life. Because I was dumb young, but I had this example right in front of me. And that's what my Haitian parents had told me most of my life anyway.
Yes.
And now it's coming from a celebrity's mother. So it all made sense at that point.
That's the moment it clicked for you.
Totally.
Because I understand that. Because I know for me, because my family, they've done big things,
Yeah.
you know, sports-wise, TV-wise, political-wise. So into the music biz too. They've been behind the scenes for a lot of things. So growing up, I saw a lot of different things behind the scenes.
Yes.
And for me, I think when I was a pageant winner, because I've done a pageant, and that's when it really clicked for me. That's when I understood what it is about being behind the cameras, who you are in front of the cameras, and who you are behind the cameras. And a lot of people don't get that.
They don't.
They think what they see is what they're actually getting.
And they misconstrue it. And then that's how a lot of people, and I'm glad you share your personal experience too, because a lot of people do not know how to turn it off. They keep it going until it becomes real life for them, and it's not real life. Yeah. So when I learned how to turn it off and turn it on, like, I'll disappear for days. People don't know where I'm at. I'm in my house, or I'm on a plane somewhere gone, because I have to decompress, because I can't keep it going every single day, because that's not real life.
Yeah, I agree, because I love a flight. I mean, I love a trip. Not a flight, but just a trip, period.
Listen, I'm the same. I used to sleep on the planes because I was always traveling or busy doing something, and those are the best times.
Always. I agree.
Yes.
But girl, hold your thought one more time, because let's take another break. Let's give them some, a chance to get a drink or something.
Yes.
Take a drink for me. We're going to take a pause. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Beyond Focus TV. I am still the host with the most, Abby Ray. Aniya is still here. And I want to ask you this question.
Yes.
What did you want to be when you were a kid?
Ooh, I love it. A psychologist.
Wait, what?
Right. She said, wait, what? No, literally. And here's the thing. Because of my, upbringing, I studied so much. I graduated high school at 16, went straight to university. I graduated college at 21 because I studied abroad in London, England. So I was supposed to graduate by 20, but I took that extra time to study abroad, which was a great experience. Now, theoretically, everybody said I was going to be an attorney because of the way I used to debate. Others said I was going to be the next Oprah Winfrey because of the way I, spoke and things of that nature. But when I got into college, I don't do blood, so I knew I was going to be a nurse or a doctor. Ain't nobody had time to be.
Ooh, girl, I'm not on that type of time. Bless all the nurses and doctors. We appreciate you. Thank you for the hard work you do.
But we not
built for that.
Not at all.
Not for me.
But yeah, psychology, I could be behind my desk and writing stuff. But the reason, though, and I want to share this with Haitians especially too, if your child has a knack to listen, to gravitate towards understanding, to picking your brain, asking a lot of questions, they might be the next best thing for social sciences, for humanities, for psychology, and even just all around communications. So with me, I wanted to be a psychologist because I wanted to change the way the testing was done. It wasn't fair to me that 5 white men in Europe created the whole entire DSM, which is the diagnosis for, mental illness and things of that nature. And it's all based off of 5 white men from a part of the world that has nobody that looks like me and you. In, the 1800s, et cetera, et cetera. This was a long time ago when Sigmund Freud came out with all of this. So This is probably something you wouldn't necessarily understand because this is not something you've gravitated towards. But for those that may be going into school, let me share this. When they created the whole method of psychology, we were not a part of that conversation. No. So what I wanted to do, was change the basis of how people are studied and how we relate to one another. Because if 5 white men created this platform, where the Asians, where the Haitians, where the Hispanics, there weren't any that were studied at that time.
That's actually a great outlook. But see, one thing I've noticed with psychology, because most people think psychology is like becoming a psychiatrist,
Two different stories.
or because sometimes people do not get the difference or the concept of what sociology is and what psychology is.
Yep.
So I sometimes don't fault because it's like, again, it's not something part of our culture to understand.
And plus, our community doesn't necessarily see us in those roles because it's not like the name recognition, right? Doctor so and so, but if they say PhD, kisa PhD, kisa saila, what is that? I don't understand. PhD is literally a study. It's a doctor. You have to go to a lot of school, but Haitians typically don't want their children to study things that do not have that flashy title or like that big office or what have you, and that's a problem for me.
I mean, yes, I mean, when you look at it from a different point of view, like I get it. Every parent wants their kids to be something grand,
right?
Especially if they're coming from a position of lower class or middle class,
right?
So I do understand. Like my mom was a little different. She just wanted me to be great.
Okay, go mommy. Okay. Thank you, Mom. My mom wanted me to be great with that title, which, and I get your point of view as well, but that's why we are in the position that we're in a lot of times, because the lack of comprehension. We are in a position where we are not free thinkers, and we're always put on a level of anxiety because it's always, we have to do this, we have to do this, we have to do this now. Yeah. It's not everybody's experience, because you obviously had a different experience, but a lot of my friends and a lot of people that I know had that same mentality and that same energy thrown at them. Like, you have to do this, you have to do that. And it was just so much pressure to the point where it could actually break a society, as we see what's happening presently. When you have all this pressure, when you boil a pot of water, for example, if that lid stays on, that thing is going to what? It's going to push up, because that water it constant.
That pressure needs to release.
It needs to release. So what happens is people don't understand that. So that's why I bring that to everybody too, because we can make a lot of difference, but we have to be able to respect also people's energy, people's creativity, people's mindsets are all different. And if we just understood that and we're a little more compassionate, I bet we'd have a better society.
I could see that, definitely. I could ride behind that.
You can?
Yes.
Thank you.
That ideology is actually awesome.
Thank you. See, I'm changing lives as we speak. Beyond Focus.
Yes. Beyond Focus brought it to you first. Just remember.
Yes, ma'am.
But I mean, because, like I said, I understand, because my other family members did compare me to their kids or other people. Oh, well, why she's not doing this? Why she's not doing that? I know that's a thing. And that's why I said I understand the pressure. There is a pressure.
Yeah.
And I do believe that a lot of parents are now getting a little bit better. The Haitian community parenting is getting a little bit better at understanding the different values of what, each grade level and mindsets and who their child are.
Right.
Which I believe sooner or later we will be a better society.
Right. And then here's the thing. I don't want us to take off all of the reins, right? Because you spare the rod, you spoil the child. So don't get it twisted. I just ask that our parents understand that there's so many different methods of making money and educating ourselves and, being great. It's not just the doctor, it's not just the lawyer, it's not just the teacher. For example, what we're doing here. Let me tell you one of the biggest things that happened to me when I got into production, because obviously Freedom Entertainment Group has the entertainment for a reason. Being on television and radio is not easy. It doesn't happen naturally. You have to either study it or you have to be passionate enough to go full force, right?
Yes.
And that's the thing. A lot of us are not even allowed to go into television and radio. Let's be realistic. Right?
That is a touchy subject.
I know. And I love to bring out those touch points because we have to talk about it. So what happens is if a child is able to maneuver cell phones at a very young age or gravitate towards fixing televisions or radios or what have you, they have the propensity to also be production assistants, producers, directors. Yes. They can be doing the boards, engineering. But again, if our community doesn't see that as a real thing, then what happens? That gift is stifled. And if you know anything about production, you'll understand there's more money in being a creative, being behind these boards, doing this, than there is sitting behind a desk that you don't want to be behind.
Exactly.
And I have to share that because that's what happened with me. I never thought I would be behind the board or an editor or producer. I was a producer for TBN, the biggest television station in the world. How? One brother named World literally showed me the boards. One day it took. And I became a very successful person learning boards after like one day of engineering and learning how to play with sounds and devices and things like that.
Oh.
In front of the camera, behind the camera, it's all beautiful because when we create our imagery and make sure that our space is, evolving.
Yes. Then we taking over the world.
You need it. We need it, sister.
And I agree. Oh, girl, I just want to make sure you put your Instagram out there or your Facebook so people can link up with you, read some of your books.
Thank you. And you will get a copy, and so will the rest of the staff. Trust, I will not forget.
Please.
But my name is Aniya A, and you can follow me on Instagram, The Aniya A Show, TheAniyaAShow. You can also follow me on NVSANYC and FEGMGMT. Now on Facebook, I have a lot of friends, but you can follow me and watch me there, Aniya A period. And just real quick, shout outs to the Brooklyn Bridge 6 and the rest of the team because we have some work we're doing for Haiti. I know you're probably short on time, but listen, Haiti first. IET is my love, and you'll see me in the news again by the time this goes.
Probably.
I'll be in the news again with my team, so shout out to the team.
Yes.
Haiti, let's work on fixing Haiti and making it a better place.
I agree with you. We'll keep in contact because I'm ready to fight the fight.
Thank you.
Well, actually, I've been fighting the fight.
You have been?
But
okay. You want to join the activism world?
Girl, I wish I could, but I'm not good with the jail life. Jail is not for the princess.
It's no. But listen, a lot of people have done it, and they have done great things after,
Yes,
it's
I
not
agree.
for everybody.
It's just not.
Right. Shout outs to the team here, too. I love you guys.
Yes,
you guys are
but
awesome.
I want to say thank you for coming. I enjoyed this. Oh my God, I love talking to you. I wish I could talk to you all night.
All night.
But I don't want the group. I know y'all ready to wrap it up.
but we'll be back again. If you'll have me, I'll be back again.
I definitely will invite you again. I want to say thank you for coming to Beyond Focus TV, giving us the love and great energy today. So guys, I want to say good night. Thank you for watching Beyond Focus TV. As your host, Abby Ray. Have a good night. Peace and love.
Beyond Focus TV show wants and needs your feedback. Did we blunder? Please let us know so we can improve. Was the show helpful to you? Drop us a note so we can share the success with our staff members. Is there something you think we could do better? We welcome new ideas and new approaches to old ideas. Do you have a great suggestion? Let us know and we'll work on it. If you would like to share your comments anonymously, please send us an email at info@beyondfocusmedia.com. If you want to get in touch with the executive producer directly, send him an email at gene@beyondfocusmedia.com. We really look forward to hearing from you.